All right, here we are back with another MLF Fantasy Fishing video for Lake Pickwick, and I'm going to tell you why it's probably not going to be dominated by deep water anglers this week. Stop number 3 of the MLF Pro Circuit Fantasy Fishing. After this event will be the midpoint. There's 6 events plus the championship, so anglers are definitely pushing to get themselves into position before the swing changes. You got 2 TVA lakes in Pickwick and Guntersville and back-to-back events, so those southeast TVA anglers are going to look to make their move to get up the standings and hold on to make that title championship. This event is taking out of Counce, Tennessee, not Florence, Alabama, so they're on the lower end of Pickwick, much closer to Mississippi than the headwaters and the tail race and things like that. So maybe take that into consideration when you're picking your team. The people that want to fish for smallmouth, staging fish, smallmouth, spawning fish up towards the top are going to have a real long run, and they're going to get less fishing time than the other anglers. The water level is about 415 and slowly dropping. Water clarity is pretty good. Water temps are in the low 60s. Everything is pointing this to be a pretty strong spawn event, but yet there'll probably be fish in all 3 stages of the spawn. Spawning, pre-spawn, post-spawn, probably leaning more towards post-spawn as this event goes in. We've got modest weather and a little bit of a warming trend going on the weekend with partly cloudy, moderate winds, 10, 12, 15 miles an hour. So not catastrophic for sight fishing, but also not ideal for sight fishing. So I'm guessing a lot of fish will be caught off beds and shallow, but whether people are actually going to be bed fishing and seeing them and sight fishing them, that is something we'll have to see, but I don't think it'll be dominated by sight fishing. That being said, I'm going to have my team built a little bit of mix of shallow and offshore. Now, while I said it's probably not going to be one on deep or on ledges, there will be some anglers that probably contend on staging fish offshore, but they may not be super deep. Looking at the overall leaderboard, not having a fantastic season. The Pro Circuit, I'm down 500 pounds. Treyo, congrats to you leading the overall thing. Several people got this figured out, but we're going to break down the rosters here and look at who's leading the HellaBass League as well. Here's a few of the leagues you can join. The Beat HellaBass group, I'm also down. Scott Pitlick is leading it, and he is in the catbird seat for bringing home some gift cards to get himself some Super K swim jigs. If you want to get yourself Super K swim jigs and you don't think you're going to catch Scott, you don't play fantasy fishing, or you're just too impatient, you can go ahead and use the code HellaBass15 at Super K Jigs. Get yourself some handmade, hand-tied, made in the USA, made in Wisconsin, premium swim jigs. Check those out, and let's get into the picks. For Flight 1, Michael Neal's having a fantastic year. He knows the TVA. I expect him to have a good tournament. Jeff Reynolds having a strong season. I think the shallowness of the spring tournament on Pickwick will play right into his strengths. John Hunter also having a solid season. Very familiar with this region of the country. I expect him to have a good tournament. He's no stranger to river fishing. The TVA, he can fish offshore or shallow, whatever he needs to do. John Cox, this seems prime for him. I think he's going to do some damage in this tournament, and I expect him to have a big tournament. And then finally, Miles Berghoff, not having a great year at 102nd in the rank, but he is my pick for this bucket as the below 40 in AOI angler that's going to have a big impact. I expect him to have a big event this week at Pickwick. Moving on to the second flight, Spencer Shuffield seems to be catching him everywhere right now. Hard him not to put on your team. Cole Floyd, TVA expert, should have a great event. Mark Rose, he's my one guy holding down that offshore gang. I think he's going to find some fish, and I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he'll get you some solid fantasy points and keep those fish offshore, schooling, staging, coming and going honest. Josh Bragg from Alabama area, he should have a good event. He loves the swim jig. He loves to fish shallow, can do a lot of different things, having a pretty good season in the top 40. And then finally, uncharacteristically, Ron Nelson is 103rd. He is unlikely to stay there, so we're looking for him to make a big comeback and make his push up the leaderboard so he can get himself in a position for the year-end championship. So I think he's a savvy pick at that below 40 line. And then what will be the final Champions Day winning event, because they zero it out for the final day for the final anglers. So it's a one-day shootout for the top 10, I believe. And I'm going to say 21 pounds, 9 ounces. I think low 20s gets it done for that one-day shootout on the final day to win this tournament. Even though the Pro Circuit has done away with co-anglers, there's still a lot of good co-angling tournaments out there. And if you want to see one of my favorite co-angling secret weapons, make sure you check out this video on the screen right here.